Welcome to Let's Talk Points Recertification Q&A. I want you to meet your education team. So I am Dawn Whiteside, Director of Education and Professional Development. Kimberly Jones is our Manager of Education and Professional Development and LMS Coordinator, and then Samantha Hendrickson, who is our Professional Development Associate. There's our contact information if you have any questions. We are going to be talking about our accreditation providers during this presentation, and this disclaimer is one of the requirements we have. So because CCI is the organization that offers the certification exam for all of our credentials, CNOR, CNAMB, CFPN, CSSM, we have to make sure you know that if you are using any of our content products for test prep, you are not required to use any of our products. It doesn't imply that you will do better if you use our products versus anyone else. So the objectives for this presentation. First, we're going to talk about the rationale for professional points activity requirements. We still have some nurses that aren't sure about how the points activity works. Why are we doing points? Why are we going to do away with only contact hour for recertification? We're going to talk about all that during this presentation. We're going to talk about current recertification options, and that's going to depend where you are in your recertification cycle. I'm going to show you how to log into your profile on the CCI website. If you haven't been there in a while, this is a great refresher. And to let you know where to look for key aspects of your certification window, your accrual window, all of that content that we throw all those terms around that may not be as obvious to some, and then other options for managing your credential. So first up, we're going to talk about the rationale for switching to a professional points activity model for recertification and what that requirement means. So ABS&C, the Accreditation Board for Specialty Nursing Certification, is an organization that accredits our credentials, our CNOR, our CSSM, our CNAMB. All of those are accredited through ABS&C. Some are accredited also with other organizations, but through ABS&C, it's similar to your hospital, your facility being accredited by Joint Commission. There's certain requirements that you have to complete to maintain that accreditation status. So switching to a points process was a way for us to adhere to some of the requirements from our accreditation bodies. So when was this change announced? Does anybody know? When we would talk about, we're going to switch to a points only process for recertification. It's going to be a rolling process, but it's coming. When did we announce this? 2018. So it has been 7 years since we made the initial announcement that we would be transferring to a points only process for recertification. So ABS&C standard 13, there are 18 standards total that we need to comply with. Standard 13 specifically refers to the reason why we changed to a points process. So recertification and continuing competence, that's the title of standard 13. So the certifying organization has a recertification program in place that facilitates continuing competence in the specialty over the course of a candidate certification period. So how are we validating competency throughout that period? Currently for CNOR, it's 5 years. CSSM, CNAMB, it's 3 years. So what are we doing to validate continuing competence over the course of that certification period? And then one of the things they talk about is the requirement for using a multimodal approach, not just doing contact hours, to really encourage people to continue activities that increase their knowledge so that you can maintain competence beyond that exam period. CNOR exam is written for a nurse with 2 years of perioperative experience as a nurse. That's how it's written. So after that initial period, how are we then going to validate that you are continuing to be competent? You are continuing to make sure you're using the current standards of practice, using evidence-based practice. Doing contact hours alone is not strong enough, rigorous enough to validate that you are continuing your competency, your journey throughout your career. So again, a lot of things, terms that we throw around here are some definitions. Continuing competence. So this is an ongoing process, and we really want to make sure that our nurses are applying the knowledge, skills, judgment, and attitudes to their practice for their specific patient population. So it's an ongoing process. Continuing professional development. This is a system that really looks at the whole of your learning and looking at those opportunities for stretching from the classroom to the point of care. So you're getting that knowledge, but then how are you translating that into caring for your patients? So continuing professional development, this is the process you put together for your personal learning, your personal journey of learning what best practice is, what the best standard of practice is. And as it says there, it enables you to be the architect of your own learning. The system bases its education and methods on research, theory, and findings from a variety of fields. Continuing professional development requires an ongoing process where you are intentionally reflecting on your current practice, where any of those gaps are, and then seeking out that information to ensure that you are staying current and competent. CCI's mission and vision. Our mission as a nonprofit organization is to promote continuous professional development, which ultimately drives safe, quality patient care. All of us in healthcare, our goal is to provide safe, quality patient care. So as the mission of CCI, we need to make sure that what we are doing to ensure safe patient quality care is to make sure that our nurses are continuing to build on their base knowledge, translating that into practice, and making sure that is current best practice. Our vision is to grow a community of certificates and lifelong learners for whom CCI is a catalyst and integral partner. We all know that we are lifelong learners. It's part of the ANA Code of Ethics that our commitment to ourselves and our patients is to make sure that we are continuously accessing information that is going to make us better providers. So here's ABSNC. This is our first accreditation provider. We're also accredited with NCCA. The links are here. You can type those into your web address and look at more information. The accreditation standards that are required to maintain accreditation are on their website. They're available for anyone to go on and see what those requirements are. One of the things we took away is taking the exam to recertify. I don't know who was doing this, but most people, after they take and pass the CNOR exam or CNAMB, CSSM, any of those certification exams, one of the first things they say is, I never want to do that again. So I'm going to maintain my contact hours or my points to make sure that I have my recertification process. Some people like to take the exam again, but remember, the exam is written for someone with 2 years of experience and 2,400 hours of experience. So are you really continuing your competency if you have been in practice for 5, 10, 15 years and you're taking an exam for someone with 2 years of experience? That's not truly a process of ensuring that you are maintaining your competence over the lifetime of your career. A comment we've heard is no other professional organization does this point process. Why does CCI need to do this? Well, that is a false statement. There are many other credentialing organizations that use a points process. As an example, CRNAs, our partners at the head of the table. This is an example of what they have as part of their recertification process. And if you've looked at our points activities, they include presentations, publications, teaching, attending meetings. They still include some contact hours as well as we do, but different things that they do in their everyday practice is counted towards their recertification. And there is the web address for that content as well. CCRN, critical care nurses, you can see here that they call them CERPs, similar to a points process, and the requirements for those. So they have different categories, different levels. This is a bigger example. So again, professional publications, activities. We say item writer if you're doing test development. Activities that they do every day, working, volunteering for committees, doing audits. All of these are worth points or CERPs for the critical care nurses. So they use this process as well. Things that people are doing every day in their practice that demonstrate that they are staying current. CCI, these are our current categories. This is where you can earn points. CCI has a bunch of free point activities. Again, not required for recertification, but it is a free option that you have that you could go into our store. It's in our store because that's how it links into your classroom, but they are free. And you could put 300 points worth of activities into your account and do them, and you're done with recertification. You don't have to pay for contact hours. You don't have to pay to go to a conference to earn contact hours. So it is still a part of the points process. You can earn 50 contact hours, which would be 100 points. So 2 points for every contact hour, but that is the max, up to 50. For CNOR, recertification is 300 points. So you would have to get 200 additional points through other activities. Again, those could be activities that we have in our store, but not required. Board or committee service, if you're doing any of that within your facility, if you're on a local board, AORN, anything like that, if you're working on a board for the Red Cross, something like that. Teaching in an academic facility. We have case studies, additional points activities, games, reflections, all of those are in our store for free. But you also get points for doing research, clinical inquiry. If you have another perioperative related certification, if you have training certificates, BCLS, ACLS, those are worth points. So there are a lot of things that you do in your everyday practice that are ensuring that you're staying current that are worth points towards your recertification. So we're going to talk about the current recertification options. This is our website. I highly encourage you to download the CNOR Candidate Handbook because that's not only for initial certification, all of the recertification information is there. Appendix in the back of the book has a lot of information about the points activities and how those are calculated. There are caps, maximums in the different categories. The only one that is not capped is going back to school. So any of the academic activities, you can do as many of those as you want that translate into points. So currently, recertification options, and this is for CNOR, at the end of your 5-year cycle, you have to apply for recertification. So currently, and this is the last year, contact hours 125 or 300 points, or you could file for an extension year or file emeritus, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in this presentation. So recertification options. When we rolled this out in 2018, we did it on a rolling basis. So if you recertified in 2022, you still had the option of doing contact hours, or points. Your recertification year was 2023. In your next cycle, you would be points only. This is the last year that individuals can use contact hours to recertify. Starting next year in 2026, everybody will have gone through at least one cycle of recertification where they could do both CE or contact hours, or CE or points, and then their next one was points only. So starting next year, everyone will be on the points only recertification process. Accrual windows, and I'm going to show you how to look this up in your account. Accrual windows, that is the time period you have to earn those points, or this is last year, contact hours. So if your certification was in 2020, you have from January 1st of 2020 to December 31st of 2024 to earn those points or contact hours. And then beginning January 1st of 2025, you can start to recertify, but you have to do it by the end of the year. And then here's the time frame for 2021 to 2026. Recertification by continuing professional development, also known as contact hours. Those individuals who are recertifying this year, last time you can do this, 125 contact hours, 75 have to be related to perioperative nursing. The provider of your contact hours must be accredited. Your certificate that you earned from that contact hour session has to have something on the bottom that says this is accredited by. So make sure you have that process. A lot of them are California Board of Nursing, different state boards of nursing, ANCC, all of those different providers will be listed on the bottom of that certificate. If you are audited, only if you are audited, you will have to provide copies of those certificates. So make sure you are holding on to those. You can use contact hours still in the points process up to 50. Same thing applies. Make sure you're holding on to those certificates in case you are audited. Recertification by points activities. CNOR is 300 points. This option will be your only option starting next year. Again, these are some of the different categories. So what can you do? Start keeping a log. Have the categories down, the date of the program, information, how much time was there. For academic study, the only one that's not limited, 1 semester hour equals 45 points. So if you are going back to school, you have well over 300 points. So keep a log of what you're doing, what your process is for all of those categories. And you can see that 300 points will become very quickly calculated with the things that you're doing. So start tracking the activities you're doing now that meet the criteria, regardless of whether you can use points or contact hours this year. And then consider points rather than contact hours if for some reason you're thinking, I don't have 125 contact hours and I'm due to recertify. Look at the points option, because you can look back and say, oh, well, I did serve on this committee and I volunteered here. Oh, and I have my ACLS and my BLS. You may already have 300 points and not need that 125 contact hours. At the end of the year, we have a lot of phone calls from nurses saying, I didn't get my contact hours. I need to file an extension year. That can be expensive because not only are you paying for the extension year, but the next year you're going to have to pay full price for recertification again. So rather than adding cost to that, put the process together, look at how many activities you've done that are worth points, and you can save money that way as well. So what does your CCI account look like? This is the website address. You're going to go in, click login. If you do not remember your password, do not create another account. Call, we can help you figure out the password. We have a lot of nurses who will go in and they're like, oh, I don't remember, I'm just going to create a new account. Every time you create a new account, you are attached to a different certification number. We have had nurses with up to 10 different accounts in the system. So depending on when you've added content to account number 4, and now you're account number 10 and you're going in and trying to log, none of the other stuff is linked to that account. So we can merge those accounts, but it takes a lot of time. And it's very frustrating for you because you can't find content that's related to your account. So please do not make another account. Make sure that if you need help, call our main number, or you can always email info@cc-institute.org, and you will get in contact with our credentialing team and they can help you reset that password. So this is the CCI homepage. You can see the big orange arrow where it says My Account. You're going to click on that. You're going to get the login information, continue. Then you are going to have, this is your homepage. So you can see your CCI ID number, which is blocked out here on the upper right of that long blue bar. And to the left, you're going to have your certification. If you have multiple, this person has CNOR and CSSM. So you would click on the My CNOR button. But on this page, you can see your name. This would be your address. And then on the right-hand side where you have My Account links, you have Enter My Classroom. So if you have purchased or logged in to get some professional points activities from our store, you need to click on Enter My Classroom, and that will take you over to our learning management system where you'll complete those activities. If you want your certificate, you want a copy of your certificate, this is where you would click Print Certificate to be able to have that. So here you're going to click on My CNOR, and then your next page. This is what I really would love you to check out on your own profile. So up at the top, you can see here current application period and then accrual period. This will tell you when you can earn those points activities or contact hours. Recert available January 1st of 2025. So whether this person accrued all of their points or all of their contact hours by January of 2023 and they're ready to go, you will not be able to recertify until January 1st of 2025. You can see here there's a request emeritus status button. January 1st of 2025, there will be another button that says apply for recertification. Another question we get from nurses, they'll log in and say, I can't find the button. They think their credential is expiring on December 31st, 2024. So they call us on December 31st and say, I can't recertify. I'm going to get expired. No, you can recertify, but not until January 1st of 2025. And then you can see here expires. It won't expire until December 31st of 2025. So looking at this dashboard is really important to know and understand what your specific timeline looks like. Then down below here where we have the big circle, this is information that needs to be completed as well before you're going to get that apply for recertification orange button up top. So you need to have your RN license added. You need to have achieved your continuing education or points, and then your experience needs to be added. If you have a thumbs up in all of these, on January 1st, you're going to get that extra button there. But you need to make sure that all of this is correct and loaded. So what does the next one look like? If you click on continuing education, it will take you to the dashboard that shows where you're at in your accrual. So continuing education, you can see this one has a thumbs up, so this person has everything done. If you have the option of contact hours still, in addition to points, you will see both of these running tabs here. If you only have points, you will not see a contact hours tab. So basically right now, the race is on to see if you get green and 100% for points or green and 100% for contact hours. So this person has well over 300 contact hours. They have 444. They have 14.55 contact hours accumulated. That is automatically translated into points, and that is in this total here. If you need to report contact hours or points, the buttons are here, and I'll show you what it looks like if you click on those. And then currently we have the import AORN contact hours. That is going away. So you can report contact hours here, report points here. If you have contact hours from AORN that are not able to be imported because this button is going away, you can still report them here under contact hours. So if you click on those, you will see where you can upload them. So this is the picture of someone who only has the points option. They do not have a contact hour option here on their dashboard. Right here, you're looking at the 100%. They've already been achieved. And here is a running list of everything that was entered or calculated or uploaded. Report points. Then the list of points type of activities will come up. So continuing education, you can see here, it says limit of 100. You'll find a limit listed for each of them. Whoopsie. So here you can see there is no limit for academic study. If you're going back to school, you do not have a limit. Teaching, publishing, whatever those are, you would click on report, report points, report contact hours. Then the next screen you have is where you would enter. So this one is someone who is entering information about being a second author on a peer-reviewed journal. And then required is to tell us what the journal is. It automatically calculates points and the date it was published. If you want, you can upload currently a copy of the cover page that has you listed as a secondary author. You do not have to do that, but please make sure you hold on to that content, because if you are audited, you will be required to present and upload a copy of that. So the audit process, there are random audits completed. Information can be verified by telephone, email, or letter. So verification might include your current employment. So they may contact your supervisor and say, does this person really work there? Have they worked there how many hours over the last 5 years? Get that verification, get a letter from your boss, anything like that. We verify your nursing license through the nurse's system. We verify your professional nursing history through employers, contact hour certificates that need to be uploaded, and then points activity verification. If you do activities through CCI in our store, that content is automatically sent over to your profile. That is not a certificate you would have to upload because it's already verified within our system. But please make sure you keep your documents for other activities. So what are the options if you don't have enough points or contact hours to recertify? I talked about the extension year. So this option is only available for certificates that don't have the current requirements for recertification. So this gives you an additional year. So if you are due to recertify at the end of 2025 and you don't have your content, you can get an extension year, which means you would recertify in 2026, and your accrual period would also include all of 2025. So if it's December 31st of 2025 and you're due, you're going to expire if you don't have your content, doing an extension year is not going to help you because you had to have accrued everything by the end of this year. If you have enough, including 2025, you can do that process. So really look at that dashboard, look at where your dates and points and all of that fit into there. And again, if you're not sure, just contact CCI, call the number, send a message to info, and somebody will get back to you. Another option is emeritus status. You can go emeritus, which is basically retiring your credentials. So there's a little image of somebody having a little cocktail in the sun because they're retired and they can do whatever they want. If you would like to maintain your certification, it would be in your signature line. It just would not be an active certification. You would be emeritus, retired, that credential, and you would have an E in parentheses after your credential. There's a one-time cost for that. Always check our website to see what that cost is, the most current cost, and you're done. You don't have to get contact hours. You don't have to have anything else. You just pay that one-time fee and you will maintain your credential. This example is CNOR with an E in parentheses afterwards for emeritus, knowing that you have earned it, but you have retired that credential. Tips for success. Make sure you're reviewing your professional accomplishments and make a recertification plan. Keep a log, write everything down that you're doing, maintain that documentation that shows that you have participated in that activity. Submit your application before your certification lapses. So for this year, anybody who's due to recertify in 2025 has to do that by December 31st of this year. You have to have earned your points or contact hours through December 31st of 2024 to recertify this year. If you don't have them, you can file an extension year and have anything you did during 2025 applied to that recertification process. But check out the points, go through, log everything you've done, and you may already have 300 points and not need to be concerned that you didn't get 125 contact hours. CCI staff, we are here to help if you need anything. This is the contact information for our credentialing team. So info@cc-institute.org and someone will get back to you. Look at the handbook, CNOR. It's free to download off of the website. Appendix B currently has all of the points activity options, or give us a call and we will help you out. And that is it for the points process. I wish you a lot of luck. Make sure you are keeping track, making sure you are having that continuous professional development and doing the best for you, for your career, and for our patients.